they just did not seem like they were like ready for that, and they did not seem like they wanted anything to do with this. But
Yeah, it was just a very awkward segment. Like nothing really.
yeah, then Ashley would then she come out again, and then Santino would interrupt, and like basically it was over the whole Playboy thing, and Santino would just continue to say that she didn't want to do it, basically speaking for her. Then he'd take shots at the crowd, which were actually kind of funny. He said that basically like the only thing that they can root for is like a football team in New Jersey, which is funny because this is like around the time when the Giants were making their one of their playoff pushes, and they actually made it to the Super Bowl that year against the Patriots. So
And one.
yeah, and even won. So yeah, so you take some funny jabs at the crowd, and like he'd say.
It's always
These people will cheer. Basically, it's like you could ask them if they want hepatitis, and they'll still cheer and stuff like that.
I mean, let's be real. WWE fans,
I mean, he is kind of right about that.
we are sheep.
Yeah, I mean, he is kind of right about that. Like, because they'll basically they'll cheer basically for anything sometimes. So
Yeah, yeah, but it's always easy to take jabs at New York sports as being a New York sports fan myself.
yeah. But yeah, so then that was basically that. The next day would air WrestleMania 24 commercial. This would have just some random person, Kelly Kelly, and then he basically purposely drowned because he wanted Kelly Kelly to save him, whatever. And
Who else but Mae Young?
yeah, she always found her way in
She
everything.
always found a way.
Always found her way in everything.
Yeah. Yeah, and then wasn't the countdown, and then they had the countdown, and wasn't it 56 days? I want to say 56.
I think it was 60. I think it was 63 or something like that.
63 or 56. Something.
It wasn't as long as some of the other ones because keep in mind this was, I guess you could say, somewhat of an earlier Mania because this was a March Mania.
Yes.
Nowadays, a lot of them are mostly in April. Every now and then you'll get one that falls in March still, but
yeah, but mostly they try to focus on April.
Yeah, absolutely. But the next we'd have the WWE Championship match between Randy Orton and Jeff Hardy. They'd have the video package for this. Well, of course, the month prior, Jeff Hardy actually got a pinfall victory over Triple H at Armageddon
To earn this,
which that would get him in the title picture, I guess. The thing that's the one thing I thought was funny in this video package. I mean, it wasn't
you where your appendix used to be.
Yeah, I mean that wasn't supposed to be funny, but it's kind of like, wait, you're gonna kick him where his appendix used to be? That means that it's not there, so he's not gonna feel it. And that's not the only place that I'm gonna kick him. It's like that was not his greatest line ever.
No, and obviously Matt Hardy was still off that knee injury.
Yeah, that's when he was, and I guess they just did that to just add on to it.
You had to prolong it.
Yeah.
Then obviously the Raw before the Rumble.
Raw before the Rumble. Wait, was it? I don't remember. Actually, no. I think that may have been 2 weeks before. Now that I think about it, because I believe they had 1 week of the. They had the 1 week of what was the first? They had their big first week in high definition. That was like leading into the Rumble. Okay, I remember now exactly. So yeah, that was the last. That was the last of the original Raw set. So he would do a swanton from the top, and still a moment like every now and then you'll see it again
and be like holy crap, did that really just happen? Kind of thing, Obviously, if I can remember correctly, it was supposed to be Randy Orton versus Jeff Hardy for the Intercontinental Championship.
Yep.
But it only lasted like 2 seconds because right as the bell rang, Randy Orton with the low blow, and then a brawl would break out.
Yeah.
And then one to another, and next thing you know, you see Jeff Hardy jumping off higher heights.
Yeah. So then we'd have this match, the Rumble. Jeff Hardy was still Intercontinental Champion at the time. This is actually a pretty good match.
Probably out of all the regular matches, this was probably the better one.
Oh, absolutely! This is undoubtedly the best match tonight. Once again, this one, I don't know. I don't think underwhelming is the right term for this one, but because this actually was pretty good. But to me, it just seemed like it was. I actually kind of wish they would have gotten more time because it just felt like it was kind of like it didn't get like the proper like timing that it needed.
Yeah, but as I was telling you when we were watching this, it's a Rumble event. They basically try to get everything out of the way as fast as possible.
Yeah, because they're going to give like most of the time to the Rumble.
Yeah.
Or that's always the longest match.
That's how every Rumble is nowadays.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, at least back then.
Yeah,
and probably not even nowadays, because nowadays everything's like 4 or 5 hours, like extravaganza, like crap. But
yeah.
Yeah, so they did some cool moves here. That Whisper in the Wind, actually, that connected very well.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the best ones I've actually ever seen them hit.
It looked like it. That one, and how Randy Orton sold that, looked like it actually.
Yeah, because that's always been like a. It's always been like a move. It's like I always liked it in terms of like I like the. I don't know how to describe. I don't know how to describe it. It's basically like
It just depends.
I like. Yeah, it depends how he hits it, because like when it connects, it's like it's like pretty cool. But like if he doesn't, it's kind of like it just seems like it does more damage to him than it does his opponent.
Yeah, and then eventually, he'd hit off that giant moonsault onto the outside, and then towards the end, I think is one of the slickest and coolest RKO counters.
Oh yeah, this is just so smooth.
Like it was just all in one motion. Jeff goes for the twist of fate, just quickly turns him around, and bam, RKO. Like I think that is like the slickest, coolest RKO counter. And if you really don't know what I'm talking about, you should definitely look it up.
Or even just watch the match.
Yeah,
or whatever.
watch the match.
Yeah, but so I thought this was a pretty good match. I would going back to it. I Orton retaining. That's not shocking at all, because once again Jeff was still technically, I guess you could say, Intercontinental champion.
And of course they were going to be setting up later down the line.
Yeah, because originally, and this is just a way of like getting him like in the title picture and kind of giving him, I guess you could say, a little showcase. But yeah, the original plan was for him to win the Money in the Bank match at WrestleMania 24, and then of course things happened. But the original plan was for him to win the match, and then he was actually gonna cash in later that night and win the world title.
That would have been a Mania.
Yeah, it would have been a Mania moment.
But
things happen, and of course change of plans. But we covered an Armageddon 2008 show. Eventually it all comes full circle, and he did at the last pay-per-view of the year, but in some ways maybe it worked out for the better, because it just continued to add on to that journey and that story.
Yep.
And then he did finally win the world title and have his huge moment.
I bet they always had, but I bet, like, for the Mania, I bet they always had, Randy Orton, Triple H, and Cena in the back of their minds.
Yeah, I mean...
Even before, they probably were going to, instead of doing Orton and Triple H at 25, they were going to do it at 24.
Yeah.
And then, obviously... What? Anyway.
Wait, what? I didn't...
No, I was just spoiled the entire ending to the show.
Oh. Well, as I always say, I'm pretty sure anyone who watches these rewinds, for the most part, like... I'm pretty sure... I'm not going to say for the most part. Maybe, like, the pay-per-views, like, when we do those, like, reviews and stuff. No. If you were listening to this, and I'm pretty sure everyone has seen this show.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least has seen this Rumble match. Or at least definitely knows what happens. So, that was that. We went ahead and gave that, he gave it 3.5, I gave it 3.25. Pretty good match, though, nonetheless.
Yeah, that's probably the only match that was.
Okay, and now we are on to the Royal Rumble match, but before the match starts, I just want to point out one quick thing. If I was Joey Styles and Taz, I would have been kind of pissed.
Well, yeah, I would have been. Again, it's another example of WWE just overlooking the ECW part of their show.
Yeah, they just did not value it whatsoever.
And especially since the ECW champion was in the Rumble.
Yeah, that was another thing I was going to point out later, and once he entered.
Oh,
Well, no, it's nothing wrong with you bringing it up because I mean this is part of it, but I guess you could say it ties into what we're saying about the ECW thing here. Yeah, at this point they just valued it so little because I mean yes they had the ECW champion in the Rumble, which before it's like you could have a title shot of your choosing, so it could be. So remember when Undertaker won the Rumble, it's like, oh, is he going to face John Cena? Is he going to face Batista, or is he going to face Bobby Lashley?
yeah.
And here we have the ECW champion in the Rumble.
Yeah, a year later.
Yeah, so yes, that was just weird to me. Maybe it's because they just needed someone to fill another spot, and they just didn't know what the heck to do. I mean, that's probably what it was, but
Maybe, but if he was going to be in the Rumble anyway, I would have never put the title on him.
yeah, well, Punk was in it too, so I don't know. So
But I know if Punk was champion, he would not have been in the Rumble.
who knows? I don't. I guess it's like whatever at this point, but. Yeah, so they'd break down basically they break down the Rumble, or they'd say they were going to break it down, and they'd show the video package they always show where they go over the stats, and the history or whatever, and then that whole thing.
Which they gave ECW those lines.
Yeah, exactly. And I get there was going to be some ECW guys in this, but still, it's like there's like really, if they were not going to have like a match of any kind, it's like there's really no point probably in them being involved in this, and they had to sit there throughout this whole thing and not have anything to say till like this match.
Yeah. Another thing, because we're gonna probably get to anyway.
Mm.
Don't have the boxer announcer.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, they had Michael Buffer he did his let's get ready to rumble, whatever, his usual stick, and then like he basically then he introduced Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, and probably like two of the like worst ways I've ever heard anyone ever do their entrances. But yeah, well, let's get right into it then. The first two men in this Rumble would be Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, which of course they were the final two men in the 2007 Royal Rumble a year ago. That was the greatest final two of all time. We talked about this in our JNT Rewind for our Royal Rumble 2007 show.
Yep.
They just battled. It seemed like it was like for nearly 10 minutes.
Yeah, and you actually honestly never knew who actually was going to really win, to be honest.
Yeah, because I mean, you got both men went on to challenge for the world titles at that year's Mania. You had Taker, who hadn't won it before though, but of course it was Shawn Michaels. It was in his hometown that night. So I mean, it was just perfect. I mean, it's just so epic.
I mean, what better way to start it off too?
Yeah, no, I thought this was actually a good way of starting out.
Those two would last a while.
Oh yeah, they lasted longer than anybody else.
Oh yeah.
And then so they would start battling, and then Santino Marella would enter at third, and then they make quick works of him. It actually may have been low-key like the best appearance of the whole Rumble, just because that was just funny. He just goes in there and just gets his ass kicked in.
Yeah, if we're going to play spoiler again, and then a year later, doesn't he set the record for quickest?
Yeah, he sets the record for quickest elimination. Now, that's one I don't even think they could break, even if they tried.
No, he can't.
Yeah, that was like 0.9 seconds. Yeah, that's what they said. Yeah, so then Great Khali would then enter the Rumble, and he would actually, they make quick works of him, too, actually.
Ironically, The Undertaker eliminated him, which I say was ironic because the year before, Undertaker eliminated the Great Khali.
Oh yeah, good memory. Then Hardcore Holly would enter the Rumble, and he'd get I guess he'd get a little too excited once he gets in there because he'd end up
breaking Sean's nose.
Yeah, I guess he broke it. It was bleeding like the whole time, but then John Morrison would enter.
He lasted.
He actually lasted a good amount of time too.
Yeah.
And Tommy Dreamer would enter, and he wouldn't last in there too long, but he'd get a little bit of a ovation because he's a hometown guy from New York.
Yonkers, to be exact.
Then they brought in Batista, so at this point they've actually brought in like three pretty big stars, like right off the bat.
Yeah.
Which another thing I'm going to say about this Rumble is they got to like a period where like it wasn't really till like later on that they started really making the elimination stuff. They kind of let the ring kind of pile up and stuff, which I actually didn't mind for a change because, sometimes you have guys that just like come in there and then like they're not in there like for super long. It's like the same old gimmick all the time. Sometimes So seeing this was I didn't mind it.
Which I kind of like that they do that because if for instance if like people are just in, you're just throwing them out, like it just rushes the whole match.
Exactly. So